BBC Question Time host Fiona Bruce was in no mood for sass during the show as she quickly shut down Reform Deputy Leader Richard Tice. BBC Question Time host Fiona Bruce was on fiery form during Thursday, 10 May's episode as she wasted no time shutting down Reform UK's Deputy Leader Richard Tice MP. The 61-year-old had already been forced to step in as Richard and Labour MP James Murray, as they had a small spat over the Winter Fuel Act. However, it was during a moment when a member of the audience was trying to say his piece that Fiona sternly told Richard to wait his turn. Discussing Brexit, the concerned voter said, "What we've seen with Brexit, under every single metric in our country is poorer. It's a fact, and everything we're trying to do on the outside of that is just nibbling away of the edges when people say we have no money in our pockets. Brexit, and what you stood for has caused that." Appearing agitated, Richard rebuffed the claim, telling him, "Absolute nonsense, twaddle." Annoyed, Fiona took direct measures and ticked Richard off. She told him, "Hang on, Richard, you have to let people have their say. You've had a long speech already, we have to let other people speak." Richard looked a bit sheepish after the telling off and immediately quietened down. Unimpressed, trade union leader Jo Grady could barely stop herself from rolling her eyes at the MP as he let the audience member carry on. Earlier in the episode, Fiona put Labour Minister James Murray on the spot over winter fuel payments. The BBC presenter put it to him that axing the allowance for most pensioners came up as a major issue in the local elections. The moment came as the show discussed Reform UK's huge gains in last week's ballots. Ms Bruce said, "Winter fuel allowance, that came up a lot on the doorstep, that's what lots of your MPs are saying. You know, lots of Labour MPs, including one former cabinet minister, are very, very unhappy at the performance of Labour at the moment. Keir Starmer is saying we will go further and faster. Does that not sound like more of the same?" The Labour MP replied, "Let me explain to you exactly what I think Keir Starmer meant when he said go further and faster, and certainly how I understand it listening to the electorate.